Today I'm thinking about my teachers. So I was forced to think about who are the teachers that I honor. Right at the top of the list, and I'm not even sure if these people are still alive. I'm old now, so. But right at the top of the list is Mr. Abraham Kopong. I will never forget Abraham Kopong because I was struggling with maths in high school. I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't. It didn't make sense to me. Like, what the hell are we doing? And he came as a substitute teacher, or what do they call them? Temporary teachers. I think he had come there for practice or whatever. But man, three things stood out for him, stood out about him, in terms of how he taught this thing. One was how gentle he was. He didn't assume we knew, but he also didn't assume we are stupid. He just was kind and gentle in how he presented the subject. But two, I remember this very well because I think at that time, what's his name? Michael Jackson and the other lady, man, who was coming up with the perfume. At that time, that he was rumored to be in love with her. I'll remember her name. No, not Brooke Shields. It wasn't Brooke Shields. It was the other one, Scarlett. In the movie, she was Scarlett in one of the movies. I'll remember her name. And so this lady was coming up with a perfume, and he used that as an example of calculus, because he was teaching differential calculus at that time. I remember this many thousands of years later, and yet I can't even remember the name of this actor. But I can remember he was teaching differential calculus and calculating the size of how much perfume to put into the bottle of this diamond's perfume. Yeah. That's how clear the memory is for me. And all of a sudden, stupid quadratic equations and all of these equations that they were teaching made so much sense, so much practical sense. And after that, I swore I'm not stopping to do mathematics, because actually I was gonna stop the following year and choose a different stream because I was tired of suffering from these science subjects. So I'm grateful to Abraham Kopong, wherever you are. You've made a big difference. Today, I use mathematics and arithmetic as I went on to study commerce and failed mathematics dismally at metric, but I still got into vets and continued to study calculus. The first assignment, I was like terrible, but I think mostly because I was scared. But the second assignment, I got like 65% because I remembered your lessons. And then I think the third assignment onwards was like in my 80s and 90s in terms of the pass. So thank you, Abraham Kopong. You've made a big difference. And of course, I remember Mem Kulu. She used to laugh at me in the handwriting class. We called it the Mongolo class at the Muduapo Primary School. And she would make fun of me because I was so scared. I was always shaking. My hands were like shaking whenever I would do this cursive. So my cursives had extra cursives on it. So she would make fun of me. And But at the same time, it made me conscious about writing and what, just being able to present yourself in writing and the power of coming across clearly. I still use my hand. I still have a terrible handwriting. But thank God I don't need it. Computers, right? Computers. So that's her. And then last but not least, because I can go through a list, but these are the ones that I really, really remember. Mistress Mudiba for my English class. And I don't think she taught me anything. I just think she was sexy and she was cute. So I didn't hear anything in class. We just talked, but I was just watching her. So yeah, I don't know if that's a compliment, but I remember her. She made an impact. So big ups. And I remember Mr. Nkaletse. One of the lessons I actually learned from him was try and fail, but never fail to try. He always said that. That was his, and that was his mantra. So it was quite fascinating. And he also was in the English class, but at least his English class I could understand because he was doing the what do you call it? Adjectival clauses and things like that. So I still remember some of the stuff that he used to teach. I remember, I should not forget this. I remember my history class with Mr. Mukweli. Mr. Mukweli was like fantastic. He made history come to life all the time. And the French Revolution, I could just see it in a movie. I remember there was a girl by the name of Zenobia. Zenobia, I don't know where you are. I hope you're still alive and well and kicking. And she would not get anything in class at all. And not Mr. Mukweli, they would always fight. And then she would say Italy and say who was part of the Second World War, and then who did France get into an agreement with? And then she would say Italy, and say Italy Mao. Because she was not listening at that time. You could just see that she was just waiting for this class to finish. I think she was like me in Mistress Mudiba's office, Mistress Mudiba's class. But yeah, and so he was fantastic. I never forgot Otto von Bismarck. Even today, I assess a lot of leaders on the Otto von Bismarck strategy. In fact, there's one leader here in my country who was using it, and I was like observing her Bismarckian approaches, and I was going like, those who don't understand history, they might not pick up her methods, but some of us can see what she is doing, and she's not unique. I won't mention names, right? I'm not bitter. I'm just watching leaders, right? It's my job now. And Mistress Mochele was teaching me religious studies, and she, every time I think about her, I think about Hannah and Peninnah, and the story of Hannah and Peninnah in the Bible. Because she was big on the Old Testament, but she was passionate about these stories, and she would bring it to life, and it would be amazing. When you think about Abraham and all of the other characters from the Old Testament. And when we get it wrong, she would pinch us. In El Mosotho, so she was a Mosotho woman, so she would pinch us a lot when we messed up. So while I looked forward to her stories in class, I didn't look forward to the pinching. But I think in general I was a good boy, so I didn't get the pinching often. But once in a while I would miss a part of the story because it kind of wouldn't make sense, and then I would get pinched either on my thighs, because she would either pinch your thighs or she would pinch your underarms. So I don't know if I'm getting her in trouble. I don't even know if she's still alive. But I enjoyed her class. Mr. Ngomani in the geography class. I actually recently remembered his name because I had been looking for him for a long time. Like, who was that teacher that taught me the metamorphic rock? So I still remember the metamorphic rock because of you, Mr. Ngomani. So, the metamorphic rock. And all the other stuff. The other day I was talking to someone about the clouds. I still have that stuff about the cumulonimbus and cumulostratus and stratus clouds, and which ones will bring rain and all of those things. So that was interesting. And I actually was listening in class, right? As you can see. So yeah, those are the ones that really stand out as teachers that have made quite an impact on me. I remember in matric, although I forgot her name, but she was also she was also not a substitute teacher, but she was a trainee teacher that had come to our school to teach Shakespeare. And I think I enjoyed her Shakespeare because she actually made us act. She gave us part. And I think her first name was Ethel. We were not supposed to know her first name, but her first name was Ethel. Her last name started with a B, but I think it was a Botolo or something like that. But I don't want to say Botolo because Botolo are my relatives, so it couldn't have been that. But it was around that. So today on Teachers Day, I honor all the teachers. All the teachers I've had a fortune to be taught by, but all the teachers I've had a good fortune to coach. I've coached in school since 2007, school management teams. So I'm very passionate about supporting and helping teachers in schools. I feel in this country, if we spend enough time paying attention, not just to the content of teaching, but to the art of teaching, we could actually turn this country into something absolutely more amazing than it currently is. It's not a bad country, but we could be better. We could be more. We could be amazing. After all, we're still alive with the possibilities, although we're not using that tagline anymore. I wonder why, but that's a different story. So I also encourage young people to really not necessarily pay attention in class, but respect the art of teaching, engage your teachers in a way that you're engaging humans. They are the adults that you can challenge respectfully at home, at work, or in class, unlike you would your parents. But respect teachers. As the Department of Education, I think we can do better in terms of how we create conditions for teachers to succeed. I've worked in schools across the country, and I can tell you, while we have some of the best curriculum, we have some of the worst infrastructure to support this kind of learning. So I've seen teachers who are just dying, but they are dying for their students. So if we can actually support educators more, I think it would be great. Education, the educators are our second parents when we are not at home. And then speaking of parents, I personally feel that as parents, parents are doing a terrible job of supporting teachers. I think while I understand that many parents are stressed and under pressure and with everything about taking in terms of taking care of their families and all the other drama that goes on in everybody's personal lives, I believe that educators are getting a raw deal from parents who don't go to parents' meetings, and so they don't know what's happening in the lives of their children. Many parents, yes, I'm talking to you, parent. You can deny it, but I'm talking to you. When was the last time you went to a SGB meeting? If your child is at any of the schools, at any school right now, you should be attending SGB meetings, because that's how you change and decide the course of the education of your life. Don't come and complain afterwards. Go and sit in the SGBs if your children are in school. That's your responsibility. But I think and I'm just saying, guys, I know some people are busy, some people have lots of money, some people don't. But your children's education is still your responsibility. You cannot remove it or abdicate it because there are teachers. So go and attend to your children's education. Speak to their teachers, even if it's maybe to have a cup of coffee, or I don't know if they're allowed to have a cup of coffee, so I'm using my own life sentiments here. But teachers need your support. Don't abdicate your children. Teach them values. Teach them well at home, because whatever the values that they take from home, they bring to the school. And take care of your children. Clean them up. Don't give teachers more work than they're supposed to. They already have enough. To all the teachers, all the principals, all the school management teams, happy Teachers Day. And may you be blessed as you have blessed us. Asante sana.